Hello everyone, welcome to your second video on providing plugin support for your .NET application. In the last tutorial, we made the plugin interface, so that was the .dll file that we'll need to develop our plugins and also to put in your main program. If you don't remember what our plugin interface looks like, this is what it looks like. It's just a class library with an interface called iPlugin. And if you've been following along with the tutorial, I've made a slight spelling correction. I spelled Zephyr wrong for some reason, and I've corrected that. So yep, we don't need that. In this tutorial, we're gonna work on your program. So how you're gonna load it up and how you're gonna use it in your program. So I've went ahead and created a WPF application. It's just got a list box, a label, and a text box and a button in it. This is for setting the variable in our plugin. This is going to contain all the plugins that we have, and this is going to get information from the plugin and display it. So once you've created your interface, you want to right click on references of your project, go add reference, go browse, then look for where you have saved your plugin interface. And there should be a bin folder in the plugin interface project, debug, and you have your DLL file, which should be called plugin interface if you have been following along. So once you've done that, press OK, and then go to the code for your project. Then you want to add a using statement for plugin interface. You also want to add a using statement for system.io and also a using statement for system.reflection. I haven't really put any that much code in here. I've created a method called load plugins. I've set the event handler for list box selection changed, and I've also got a event handler for the button click event. So we've got a load plugins method here, but we don't call it. So we're gonna call load plugins when the main window initializes. I'm gonna go load plugins. Okay, and we also want to add a new list to store all the plugins. So it will be a list of type iPlugin. And we'll just name it list plugins. So we've got that there. Now we're going to work on our load plugins method. So the first thing we need to do is find out where the plugins are. To find that out, we want to go to the executable path for this program that we are working on. And to get that, we're going to have to type this in. This isn't really a part of this tutorial, so I'm not going to explain what this line of code does. How this line of code works. So yeah, I'll put it in the comment in the video description so you can copy it. Oops. So this will get the path to our exe file, and then we want to create another string. Oops, sorry. And we want to redirect it to a folder called plugin. Okay, as you can see, we have redirected it to a folder called plugin, which we don't have in our executing path. So we're going to go ahead and create that. Then right click on the project in Solution Explorer, go open, go into the bin folder, the debug folder, and create a new folder called plugin. You can also obviously do that via code for error tracking and stuff, but I'm not going to do that here. Right, the first thing we're going to do is enumerate through all the DLL files in that directory. To do that, we're going to go for each string s in directory dot get files, and this is in our plugin dir, and we want to look for all the files that have a .dll extension. Oops. So we are now going to try to load each of those files into the program. And if you remember from my other tutorial on loading DLL files at runtime, we need to use a thing called types. So we're going to type in type. It's going to be array because a DLL file can have multiple types. Go plugin types. And we're going to load it up from assembly dot load file. It's going to be the string in the for each loop, so s in my case dot get types. Oops. And now we're going to do another for each loop to enumerate through all the types in that plugin. So for each type t in plugin types, okay, I guess you'll have to put this in your program's plugin interfaces documentation or something, but we want all the plugins to have a class called main in them. This is just so our program knows where to start. So we're going to go if type t dot toString dot contains a type by the name of main. We wanted to do something. This is where we create the plugin if it contains a type of main. So we're gonna go iPlugin plugin, and we're gonna load it by activator dot create instance, and it will be of that type main. We're just going to type in as iPlugin so that we can store it as an interface plugin thing in our program. If the code runs up to here successfully, then we have loaded the plugin into our program. Now we're going to put the plugin in this list. So we're going to go list plugins dot add on add plugin. This is the first test that right now we're gonna try to add the name of the plugin into the list box, and this is obviously going to be one of the first tests to see if your plugin works. So we're gonna go list box plugins dot items dot add. We're gonna try to add plugin dot get plugin name, and then we want to break out of the for each loop, because once we have found the main type, we don't want to care about any of the other types in the plugin. So we're just going to break out of the for each loop. Just save a project, and we want to move on to the event handlers for our list box. So when we change something in the list box, we want this list label to update. So we're going to go label plugin info lbl plugin info.content. We want to set it to list box plugin selected index. Oops, not list plugin, sorry. Actually, yep, list plugin. But this will be from list box. Whoops. List box plugins dot items dot. Actually, list box plugins dot selected index. Sorry. Then we're gonna invoke the get information method on them. So we have done that, and now we're gonna invoke this set var method inside of a plugin. So we're gonna go list plugins dot list plugins. Then we're gonna go list box plugins dot selected index dot set var, and the input is from text new var dot text. I'm gonna save that. If you run it now, you won't get any errors, but your program will do nothing for now because we have no plugins yet. So, yep, I'll see you guys in the next video where I will show you how to make an example plugin.